Yo, what's going on, guys? Today we're going to take a look at the Saturday NBA slate on Draftkings for October 26th. We're going to talk about some of my favorite plays on this 9-game slate, talk about some of the stud plays I like, mid-tier plays, if there's any value that I like as well. I'll be sure to hit on that in this video. Just before we do get started, guys, I would appreciate it if you would drop a like on this video. And as always, feel free to leave any comments, any questions, any feedback down below in the comment section. I always appreciate your guys' comments and feedback. And if you are new to the channel and you have not subscribed yet, make sure that you click that subscribe button down below, and also be sure to trigger the notification bell so that way you get notified every time I upload and you'll never miss out on a new video. I would really appreciate it if you would do that. But let's go ahead and take a look at this Saturday night slate. Talk about one of my favorite plays on the slate at the top, and that is James Harden. So James Harden, 10,200 on DraftKings. He's $54 on Yahoo. So this is going to be one of the fastest paced games on the slate between the Pelicans and Rockets. I'm not sure what the total is right now, but I imagine it's going to be probably one of the highest on the slate, if not the highest. These are two teams that probably are going to play at the fastest paces in the league this year. We know the Pelicans are going to play very fast with James Harden and Russell Westbrook on the same team. Both of those guys like to push the ball. We know the Rockets are probably going to wind up being a fast-paced team this season as well. So this game has a lot of appeal on both sides. There's a lot of viable plays on both sides. Obviously, Harden I really like. I think Westbrook's a good play as well. On the other side, I think Lonzo Ball's a very good play on this slate. We'll talk about him later in the video. Brandon Ingram continues to play very well. Drew Holiday, someone you could target. So there's a lot of viable plays on both sides. I really like Harden here, though. Even playing alongside Russell Westbrook, I still expect Harden to have a monster season and to be one of the top fantasy picks at the end of the season. In terms of total fantasy points scored this season, Harden's going to be probably top 5 in the league at the end of the season. And Harden could come in a little bit lower owned than expected, given that Russell Westbrook is $1,000 cheaper. On DraftKings, I think he's $9,100, and on Yahoo, Westbrook's like $49, I believe. So he's a little bit cheaper than Harden. He is coming off a big game where he scored 61 DraftKings points in their season opener. Harden only had 51 DK points. Maybe that lowers Harden's ownership a bit, and people will kind of flock to Westbrook. But I prefer Harden. Harden only shot like 15% from the field in that game and still put up 51 DK points. Harden's just going to contribute in so many categories. He's obviously going to be a great scorer. He's going to chip in with rebounds and assists as well. Can get you steals as well. Just love James Harden here. Always has that crazy high upside. And in a fast-paced game, a game that should be high-scoring against the Pelicans. Also a Pelicans team that is probably going to be pretty bad defensively this year. James Harden in a great spot and incredibly underpriced. He should be upwards of like 11-2. He should not be 10,200, way too cheap. But now the next guy I really like is Dejounte Murray, 5,700 on DraftKings, $22 on Yahoo. So Dejounte Murray went for 41 DraftKings points in the season opener on Wednesday night against the Knicks. And DraftKings decided to raise his price $100, which doesn't really make much sense after he went for 41 DraftKings points. It is a great matchup for the Spurs, getting to face a Wizards team that's going to be very bad defensively this year, probably one of the worst defensive teams in the league. Great spot for the Spurs. The Wizards did play pretty fast this year. I guess we'll have to wait and see if they continue to play at a fast pace this season, but they did play fast last year, so it could potentially be a pace-up spot for the Spurs. And Murray's one of those guys that just can contribute in all categories. He gives you so much upside at this price. He can get you points, rebounds, assists. He has the potential to get you like 15 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Just kind of contribute in all categories. He can get defensive stats as well. He's a really good defender. It only took him 24 minutes last game to score 40 fantasy points. So even if he doesn't play huge minutes, he's such a good point per minute player that he could still get the job done even in limited minutes, especially with these price tags of $5,700 and $22. If he gets 30 DraftKings points, that's a pretty good play at this price tag. I think he can easily get that, even if he only plays like mid-20s in minutes, especially in a matchup with the Wizards. So, love Dejounte Murray today. Definitely one of my favorite plays at the point guard position. At center, though, I really like Nikola Vucevic for $8,300 on DraftKings, $34 on Yahoo. I think that Yahoo price is very appealing, only $34. He should be like mid-40s. No way he should be that cheap over there. But this is a great spot for the Magic and a great spot for Nikola Vucevic versus a very bad Hawks defense and also a Hawks team that should play very fast this year. They played very fast last year, one of the fastest paced teams in the league. Don't expect much to change this year since they pretty much had the same team as they did last year. The Hawks really struggled last season versus centers. Losing Dwayne Dedmon doesn't really help them. I don't expect Alex Len to be able to slow down Vooch. He should be absolutely able to eat in this matchup. He should be dominant versus Alex Len. Vooch last year had a lot of big games against the Hawks. I think he's going to have a big game on Saturday night. He's definitely one of my favorite plays at the center position. And when you just look at the center position, people might be attracted to some of the other guys around Vooch because you look at their game logs. Their game logs look a lot better than Vooch's. In his season opener on Wednesday against the Cavs, I believe he had like 41 DraftKings points in 34 minutes, so just kind of an average game for Vooch. You have guys priced around him like Andre Drummond, who have been off to a great start to the season. There's a couple other guys that have had really good starts, like Pascal Siakam. His game log looks really good compared to Vucevic's, so maybe Vooch comes in a little bit lower owned than expected. I don't think he's going to be that popular on this slate, especially because he's still pretty expensive at $8,300. People know that the Hawks is a good matchup, or facing the Hawks is a good matchup. I'd say Vooch is probably going to be probably 15 to 20% owned in most tournaments. I definitely want to be overweight on that number, and I think he's probably cash game viable as well on this slate. Could easily go for 6x on this price tag. But a point guard, shooting guard, a value play I like here. Derrick Rose, only $4,900 on DraftKings, $19 on Yahoo. So Derrick Rose has been great off the bench in 2 games with the Pistons. He scored 33 and 31 fantasy points in those 2 games, playing 27 and 25 minutes. For some reason, DraftKings decided to lower his price $500 after he scored 30 fantasy points again. He scored 30 fantasy points in 2 straight games. He was $5,500 on the last slate, and I don't know why DraftKings lowered him down to $4,900. Doesn't really make much sense. As I am recording this video on Friday night, late Friday night, Reggie Jackson is questionable for this game. If Reggie Jackson does sit, I think that's a big boost for Derrick Rose. He will most likely move into the starting lineup and probably will play a few more minutes as well if Reggie Jackson is out. He's just been playing much better than Jackson. I think we're going to see Derrick Rose's minutes be in the high 20s on most nights, maybe even in the low 30s. It's a tough matchup against the Sixers, no doubt. The Sixers have a really good defense. They're probably going to be one of the best defensive teams this year. But Derrick Rose is just so cheap. Even if he gets you 30 DK points again, I mean, that's 6x value, which is pretty good on most nights. So really like Derrick Rose. If Reggie Jackson's out, I think he's one of the best values on the slate. Under 5K and under $20 on this slate. Under 5K on DraftKings and under 20 on Yahoo. But a power forward center, I'm looking at Robert Williams as a value, $4,400 on DraftKings, minimum salary on Yahoo. So he could potentially be the starter for the Celtics in this game. Enes Kanter, he's already been ruled out, and Daniel Tice did get hurt on Friday night, tweaked his ankle. He did hurt his ankle like midway through the second quarter, had to come out for the game. He did go to the locker room, didn't return until the start of the third quarter. He did start the third quarter, but he only wound up playing 15 minutes in that game, so there's a chance that Daniel Tice is out for this game as well. Right now he is questionable to play as of late Friday night. Robert Williams, always been a great point per minute player. He can crush this price even if he only plays 20 minutes, especially in a matchup against the Knicks. I believe he only played like 16 minutes on Friday night, and he still scored like 20 DraftKings points in those 16 minutes. So even if he plays like 18, 20 minutes, he can get you 25 DraftKings points in limited time. If he winds up starting, though, and Daniel Tice is out, then I'd project him for a few more minutes than that, and he'd probably become one of the best value plays on the slate, especially because he's power forward and center eligible, so you have a lot of flexibility with your roster on how you want to play him, whether you go with him at power forward, center, or util, or the forward spot. A lot of flexibility with Robert Williams here. And the Knicks tend to play big. They do start Julius Randle and Bobby Portis alongside each other. Randle starts at the 4, Portis starts at the 5. Both of those guys are pretty big. Both of them are I believe, over 6'8". So I have a feeling if Robert Williams starts in this game, he's going to play a pretty decent amount of minutes, probably like mid-20s to upper 20s. Just because they don't really have any other bigs they can use on Portis and Randle. I don't think this game is going to go small. I have a feeling Williams is going to be out there for a good amount. Even if Tice plays, I think you could definitely look to Robert Williams here. There's a chance even if Tice is healthy and plays, that Williams draws a start over him. So make sure you're keeping up with that news. Robert Williams, even if he comes off the bench, is a solid option. If he starts, though, I think he's one of the top value plays on the slate. But now going back to the forward position, small forward, power forward, I'm looking at Kelly Oubre. I've been on him pretty much every night that the Suns have played. Played him in that opening night game against the Kings. I played him on Friday night against the Nuggets. And on Saturday, I think he's very appealing again. Still underpriced in my opinion at only $6K on DraftKings. $30 on Yahoo is a more reasonable price, but I still think you can use him over there if you want to. So 2 straight games of 40 DraftKings points for Kelly Oubre. continues to play huge minutes, and like I said, still too cheap on DraftKings. Even though it is a tough matchup against the Clippers, Clippers are going to be probably one of the best defensive teams this year. I still like Oubre, just given that he's only 6K. He should be like a 7K, 72, 7,500 player right now, and that's probably when he's going to be on most nights this season. Oubre gets pretty good usage in this offense. He's taking 10, 15 shots every game on most nights. He's contributing on the boards. He can just really contribute in all categories. And the Suns have actually looked really good to start the season. They're competing with good teams. On Friday night, they went to overtime against the Nuggets in Denver, and they only lost by 1. So there's definitely a chance that this game could stay competitive. So I do like a lot of these Suns players here. Kelly Oubre is a guy, though, that I'm going to be targeting quite a bit, especially on DraftKings, where I think he's still underpriced at only 6K. But now going back to point guard and shooting guard, Josh Richardson, another value I'm looking to on DraftKings for $4,900 and on Yahoo for $19. So Richardson looked really good in his Sixers debut. He scored 32 DraftKings points, played 33 minutes at the 2, starting alongside Ben Simmons. For some reason, DraftKings decided to lower his price from $5,500 to $4,900 after he scored 32 fantasy points. Doesn't really make much sense. He should be like 6K, like upwards of 6K on the slate. The fact that he's only $4,900 makes him a clear standout value. I don't expect the Pistons to be good defensively this season, so it's definitely a good matchup for Josh Richardson. And an injury we're going to need to keep an eye on, a pretty big one. Joel Embiid is questionable as I'm recording this video on Friday night. And if Joel Embiid is out, that's a lot more usage to go around. Ben Simmons will become a stronger option. Josh Richardson will become an even better play. He's already a great play at $4,900, but if Embiid's out, Richardson just becomes even better. Al Horford will become a really good play if Embiid is out. So definitely keep an eye on that Embiid news. For sure, one of the more impactful injuries that's going to impact the slate. Definitely going to need to keep an eye on that as we go on throughout the day on Saturday. But the last guy we're going to talk about at point guard is Lonzo Ball. $5,900 on DraftKings, $27 on Yahoo. So after only playing 25 minutes in his Pelicans debut, he looked very solid Friday night in the next game, playing 33 minutes and scoring 37 DraftKings points. I am trying to get as much exposure to this game as I possibly can. This Rockets-Pelicans game, like I said at the beginning with Harden, this game should be very high scoring and it should be competitive. So I want to get as much exposure to this game as possible. Should be played at a fast pace as well. I do expect the Rockets' backcourt defense to be pretty bad this season. When Russell Westbrook and James Harden are your two starting guards, both of those guys are below average defenders. Don't expect the Rockets to have a very good defense this season. Both these teams are going to be pretty bad defensively in my opinion. So this game just sets up really well on both sides. Lonzo coming off a good game, finally saw good minutes. I think we see him have another solid game, and I think we're going to see him play another solid amount of minutes, probably like low to mid-30s. So really like Lonzo Ball on both sides. Definitely going to be a guy I'm targeting in that mid-range at point guard. But that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I do really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you drop a like. Feel free to leave any comments, any questions, any feedback down below in the comment section as well. You can check out the video that's on the screen right now. You can also hover over my YouTube logo to subscribe to the channel if you have not done that already. But good luck on the slate, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.